Hi everybody! I hope you're all having a good day. I hope you're all smiling and enjoying your lovely day. In this following tutorial, I'll be showing you on how to set up the YouTube point system for streamer bots, so that way you can be able to make it work with VNyan or Warudo. Now, in case you're brand new to setting up streamer bot and VNyan or Warudo, having those guys connect with each other, please refer to my previous tutorials because I made separate tutorial for VNyan and Warudo on how to set up the Websockets, because I'm going to assume you already watched those because there's going to be some missing information that won't be explained here because those already explained it. So check those tutorials first before coming here. But if you know what you're doing with StreamerBot or just simply want to know how this works because you already know how you use StreamerBot, then follow along and I'll try my best to explain it. So in the description below, there is a YouTube point system made by Haunter. So thank them, credit them for their work. And what you're going to do is that you're going to click on this import code here for the YouTube point system. Simply click on this. Make sure you download it. I'll download it here. And once you have that, you're then going to open up StreamerBot right here. Just like this. Now, this is the new version of StreamerBot, so it should be able to again, you can follow along with the new fancy UI, but what you're going to do is that you're going to click on, well, actually, make sure for your actions, I have mine empty, but if you have existing stuff, it's fine, as long as it's not going to cause conflict. If you already have the YouTube point system installed, you don't need to install it again, but just, if you're a beginner, I'm just going to have it installed here, however you want. So click on import here, and then go to your file explorer, find the SB file here, and then click and drag it over here, just like that. And then you're going to click on import, then yes, and then okay, and you should have everything imported here. So these are all your actions, and then there is an area here for the commands. Make sure you right click on the YouTube point system and make sure that you click on enable all so they all can properly work. And also make sure that for platforms under YouTube, make sure that you have your YouTube account connected properly. Once you have that, there are a couple things I could point out to you that could be things to keep in mind, but in the description, again, the creator has made a more in-depth guide on what these are for. Granted, the UI may be a bit outdated. If there's a new version of the tutorial, I'll let you know, but for now, just, again, if you want to know every little thing about this, you can refer to that guide, but I'll just point out some things that I think could be somewhat important to you guys. So first and foremost, the first words here, you can actually change the message of this all the way down here. So first words, and then YouTube message. So YouTube message here, double click, and you can change up the text here. But remember, the percentages here, I don't recommend changing those because this will specify like the point names, the username, those important stuff. It'll automatically detect those. So you don't want to get rid of it. Because again, what this is saying is that, hello, saying the user's name, you have been rewarded, let's say, 50 points, 20 points, and then it'll say use exclamation mark points to check your balance or something like that. So you can add emojis at the very least. Like if you know what you're doing, you can, like I said, as long as you don't mess with this, you can rearrange them if you want, but just making sure. If you don't know what you're doing or you don't want to break stuff, leave it alone in that case, but just want to point out you can change the message. And then over here in present viewers here, trigger, this is where you can actually change the points amount for the loyalty point system. So go over here to the set argument, and you can set where it's either 50 points, like what Twitch has. Twitch has it where I think is like 50 points per something. I don't fully remember, but you can change it however you want, 10 points per minute. But remember, this is not going to work with lurkers. Blame YouTube for that. This will be mainly for those who are actively watching, so keep that in mind. If you are lurking, it's not going to work for YouTube, but if you are actively watching, this should work fine to get your points. So there you go. But I'm going to set mine to 50 because why not? Then click on OK. And then what you're going to do now is that there is a sample redeem right here. There's command, sample redeem, looks like this. And it says for you to duplicate it because this is where you will then set up for whether VNyan or Warudo redeems for YouTube. So Control D, there's a second one here. We'll double click this and we're going to rename this to whatever. Let's say we want this to be the throw plushies for both, like either VNyan or Warudo, whatever it's gonna be. So we'll name it redeem throw plushies. And then we'll name it here where the group will be called YouTube Redeems because, you know, for organization, especially if you end up having like 500 freaking YouTube Redeems, I don't recommend having that much because, believe me, your audience might get overwhelmed with too much stuff. But I say extreme numbers in case it does happen. So the groups here, you can have it be like this and click on OK. And it'll make a dedicated group for your YouTube redeems. You can actually like duplicate this however you want. I'll shift select this and delete it. But right here, this is where we can set up our redeem. Now we do need to make a command for it because that's how YouTube works as the redemption. It's a command, not like Twitch redeems, unfortunately. So over here in commands, we're gonna right click on add, and we're gonna name this one to throw plushies. And we're gonna name this one to !plushies. So over here, we'll name this to YouTube command redeem commands. And we can have it where, you know, options should be fine unless you want case sensitive. You can have it where there's a cooldown. I recommend setting this up because you don't want your chat to be spammy. So I'd say 30 seconds could be nice, or 15. Probably those are nice numbers. It depends on you. You can disable the Twitch message, have it set to the YouTube message instead. Now, if you want it where only your moderators trigger it, then simply set this to the other side. Otherwise, if you want everyone to use it, then just leave it like this, pretty much. But for the most part, that's pretty much it from there. So click on OK. And then once you have that going on where this is for the YouTube, we're then going to go back into actions here. We're going to go over here for triggers and we're going to add that trigger. So right click, add, core, commands, command triggered. And then we're going to have this set to throw plushies, which is the ! Plushies here. You can create a command if you want over here as well, but click on OK. And then from here, we're gonna then add the code I mentioned in the previous tutorials, where for both VNyan and Warudo, there is an execution C#. Again, I'm not a coder. You'll be fine. So right click on add, core, C#, execute C# code. And then from here, this is where you'll type whatever the redeem is for either VNyan or Warudo. So it's the whole cph.websocket send parentheses, then quotations, and then whatever the redeem name is going to be. So for our case, we can have it set to ! Plushies if it's easier for you to understand. Or it could be throw plushies, or it can even be water or spin, whatever you want it to be here. It could be either one. I'll put ! Plushies, and then make sure the semicolon at the ends there. Do not forget the semicolon. But make sure you have like this written out so that way your stuff can be able to work fine. At least when streamer bots try to tell Warudo or VNyan, hey, YouTube got command triggered and they have the points, you gotta do something. So make sure that this is set up. Then click on OK and it should be there. And then from there, if you're in Warudo, you definitely want to have it where on the switch on string setup, it has the exact same name as the orange. And the same thing with VNyan as well, where in the Websocket command, the orange text is in here instead. So Websocket command, that. Literally looks like this. And you can have it set to something else, pretty much. So that's, like I said, it's the previous tutorial and then mixing with this, pretty much. Now, unfortunately, the only way to properly test this is that you actually need to go live on YouTube and actually see for yourself. So, if you're doing a private YouTube stream, it's most likely not going to work at all. It's not going to be detected. So I heavily recommend either wish yourself luck on a public stream or name it test stream. You can also have like a separate YouTube account, which again, make sure, and I probably would recommend that, especially if you really don't want to trigger your audience. That would not be good. Like, I would recommend just, you know, over here on YouTube, log out and use like a different YouTube account or something, so that way it doesn't trigger your audience. It doesn't, like, you know, notify them, so that way you could be able to test with a public stream, or you could actually use an unlisted stream. I believe unlisted streams should not trigger your audience, but if for some reason it does, then yeah, I just recommend using an alt account to test, and then go back to your main account when you're sure that it's all properly tested. That's my recommendation. But that's the only way you could properly test this. Now, another thing too, before I forget to tell you, you can actually set up the points amount of how much the redeem costs. So over here under set argument, this is set to 250 points. If you want it to be different points, like let's say, oh, the truck redeem is going to be 5,000 points, but the throw plushies is going to be 500 points. You can set up, you know, depending on that. So there you go. And again, if you want to change some messages, you can. If you see the YouTube messaging here, you could customize it if you want. Again, keep in mind of these, like, the percentages here, this thing. Be careful when adjusting this. I probably would leave it alone for your first time use, but, you know, eventually as you get familiar with StreamerBot, if you are fine editing it, then feel free to. But even then, it's perfectly fine. So, yeah. But for the most part, that's pretty much it. You just, you import the code thing, the YouTube loyalty point system. You make sure you're logged in with YouTube, depending on the account you want to test with for the live stream. You add a command on what will be your redeems. Make sure these are enabled too for moderation or wherever you like. But these are for your YouTube actual redeem, whether throw plushies, water, spin, dance, whatever it is. Actions, make sure that if you want to change your points per minute, you can do that. Otherwise, here there's a sample redeem. You simply just do Control D. Yeah, make sure you rename it to be in the other group. So again, YouTube redeems, water redeem or something like that. Click OK. And then you pretty much just add that little execution code at the bottom. Looks just like this. It's only just this line you add. So you make sure you add that and adjust the points. And then make sure you also add the trigger as well. Don't forget that. Because again, it needs to know what that trigger is going to be. Throw exclamation mark plushies, exclamation mark water. Whatever it's going to be, that's pretty much what it is. So, yeah. Hopefully it makes more sense. And again, hopefully it will work. Again, saying again so much, God, my bad. But if by any chance you experience issues with this, you can join the you could either join like Suvi's or the Warudo Discord server, or there is the StreamerBot Discord server where the person who created this is there if you want further assistance on how to use the YouTube point system for your use case. But even then, hopefully this is just very simple to you, hopefully. And yeah. Have a lovely day, everyone, and best of luck on your YouTube loyalty point system stuff. Bye-bye! Thank you to all my Snowflake members. In case you don't know, I have YouTube membership, so if you want to further support this channel and what I do, then feel free to join the Snowflake members. Otherwise, though, just your support means so much to me, and I appreciate every ounce of it. Either way, though, with that being said, though, hey, goodbye, everyone. I hope to see you guys next time, okay? Bye-bye.